Hello, YouTube. Chance Paladin here. I haven't done a video in ages, and there's a lot of things I wanted to talk about. The first one is people probably wondering how the video game's going that I'm working on, and so I wanted to show everybody a little bit. I have 4 scenes done, but only 3 of them are in the game so far. I don't have them linked, but for those of you who are aware, this is the first couple chapters of my first book. So, let's see. Yeah, just want to make sure this is recording and then my audio. Yeah, I think this is good as it's gonna get. Okay, anyway. I wanted to show everyone the game. So, this is where the main character wakes up from the cat playing with the bag, and so there's the cat right here, and he's animated, which is pretty cool. And there'll be some like dialogue here where you like take the bag away from the cat, and there's like a menu, but the menu doesn't do anything yet, but you'll put the bag in your pocket. I'm naming this guy Hoodie Paladin or something. I don't know. The main character doesn't really have a name. I mean, he goes by a bunch of different names the more you read the story, but I'm just gonna call him Hoodie Paladin. I think that's what my wife was calling him. So there's a lot of tiny details here that aren't readily apparent, but some kind of nerdy stuff. His size scales, which is really cool. This pillar is on a sorting map, which is really cool. Of course, the bed sheets are from my old webcomic. He's got a dream catcher here because dream catchers are a big thing in my stories. Anyway, this is the first scene. And then I don't have the doors set up yet, but the doors will send you to the next scene. So here's the second scene, and everyone familiar with the books will know, like, he goes outside, he locks his door and stuff. There'll be like little, like, lock the door. And then there'll be these lights on, and everything will be fine. But he'll get to like right here, and then like the lights will start flickering and stuff. I can't get the lighting to work, which is a huge problem, but I've been asking everybody for help, and I don't know. Hopefully I find somebody who knows what the problem is. And then like I said, I don't have the scenes linked yet, but I know this is just a big long scene. I want to have this zoomed in, and I'm going to have the camera tracking him. I haven't figured out how to do that, though. The funny thing is like the tutorials don't actually seem to work like how people say they work, and a lot of that's because Unity seems to change a lot. And not a lot of people make 2D games with Unity. And so finding instructions for like an actual pure 2D game is kind of hard. But anyway. This will be scene 3. And these lights are going to shut off as he goes. So he won't be able to go back because the lights will be shutting off as he goes. But again, I can't figure out the lighting. I did the lighting for the background myself because that's how I was used to doing it in Flash. But I can't figure out how to mask lighting, and despite there being tons and tons of lighting controls, I have a feeling that since this is a 2D picture, and even though 2D lighting is a thing that exists, I can't really figure it out yet. So this is the 4th scene. I haven't added it into the game yet, but this is the Friendly Mart. This is kind of the end of the first the beginning of the end of the first of like 3 arcs in the book, and this is kind of where the story ends, at least for the video game so far. And I want to add some like specular highlights and the stuff to really make it look like a bright neon sign, but I haven't figured out how yet. But I could just do it in GIMP also. And I like this art style. It's a very simple, calming art style for me to do. It probably doesn't look super polished to everybody else, but it's the art style that I am the most comfortable with, and it looks a way that's always been really comforting to me because it tells the story and it sells the environment, but it's like really stylized in a way that, anyway, blah blah blah. Point is, you know, those of you who are familiar, you know, there's an argument going on inside of the store. And, of course there's a dog barking outside because dogs have been barking since 7 o'clock this morning. Doesn't make concentrating any easier. So yeah, here we are back in his bedroom. I like to, sometimes when I can't think or something, or I just want to relax, I just turn this on and have my little guy walk around his room, his house, his little house. I'm going to have hopefully some fun dialogue with the cat. Adding dialogue and adding scene transitions and stuff is really easy. So, this is Adventure Creator in Unity, by the way. I actually really like it. It makes setting up the character and the animations really easy, which is by far the scary part. Adding lighting, which again, I fudged all this lighting just because I'm semi-decent at my own artwork and shadows and stuff. I added this, but this isn't real lighting. It's just an optical illusion. I need to add real lighting. I did figure out how to change how light and dark. This is called the skybox, which is kind of what gives it that pop-up book look, which is how I always drew my comics. My comics also. So this is definitely the art style I'm going with. It looks lazy, and it kind of is, but it also tells the story, which I really like. But even things like getting this like foreground and background to work was actually all really pretty easy and pretty intuitive. I have to say, and in the animations, because I did Flash and stuff, all really intuitive. I haven't done chat bubbles yet, but from the tutorials, all that's super intuitive. The only thing that hasn't been intuitive is the lighting. So, which is weird because 2D lighting should work exactly the same way as 3D lighting. So I'm very, very, very confused as to why every single tutorial makes the lighting look so easy. And even though I installed the universal pipeline, it's not reading my files it's not reading my assets to change it to the universal pipeline, and I'm wondering if that's the problem. Because everybody's tutorials make it look like 2 clicks, which it really should be. And so that's been my big hang up on the game, is getting the lighting to work. And like anyone who's read the story would know that the whole story begins with lighting being the central theme. So I have to get the lighting to work. I can't fudge it. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm still going to do it. I just have to figure out the lighting. I'm not letting it completely stop me, but it's definitely been a damper. But this brings back like all my old joys. This is the 4th video game I've made, believe it or not. I wanted to find some old footage, but I have of my old video games, but I have a feeling I deleted it all, so I have to get all the engines up and running again to get the video games playing again. And they'll take days to do. But I do want to show you guys someday. But yeah, this is what I do. Kind of just have my little guy walk around. There's going to be like all kinds of fun little context menus and stuff for people to click on, not just walk around. Because to most people, this little room doesn't mean anything. But to me, this room is like the beginning of the whole adventure. You know, the guy stepping foot out the door and deciding to just keep walking forward. The other thing I'm kind of like reluctant to talk about is I got rid of Patreon. Some of you might know. And I'm very, very happy I did. They were taking way too much money. They're way too into censorship. They're way too woke of a company. They took way too much money. They didn't do enough development for how much money they were taking. And their last survey of what they should work on for the year was just mostly completely woke BS. And they couldn't even be bothered to have even basic functionality of how their chat worked. And I don't know that coffee, Buy Me a Coffee, is specifically any better. But I would say it has infinitely more potential, and it's way cleaner of an interface. And so I wanted to talk about that really quick. This is my Buy Me a Coffee page. It's Buy Me a Coffee /Chance Paladin. And what I like about this is there's like a small processing fee, but they don't take any money. Or if they do, it's just like a couple percent. I can't remember. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, if you've made it this far, in which case, hello, thank you, is a lot of people were confused about how Buy Me a Coffee actually works. Because with Patreon, there's kind of just like the membership thing, or like one or the other, and that's it. And Patreon is a real mess. The only thing I don't like about Buy Me a Coffee is this looks like a padlock, like this is locked off. But I think it's supposed to be like a little purse with a heart in it, or like I don't actually know. It looks like a lock with a heart, or a purse with a heart. But you can actually click on it. It's not locked off because it looks like a padlock. And I've told them it looks like a padlock, but I don't know if they particularly care. And this is how you can join for $1 a month or $10 a month. And this is where the coffee stories are. This is like a one-time thing, which is very nice, by the way. But I think the problem is this doesn't roll into a membership. And I told them I think it should roll into a membership. I don't know if they're actually going to do it. But if you want to be a member for a month, like you were on Patreon, if you were, that's how you do that. And here's what I really like about coffee is you can click on posts and you can sort. They just changed this the other day, but you can sort between if you just want to read the news stuff or if you want to read the coffee stories. I'm on to coffee story number 2 now. There was something the other day where you could sort by 2 at the same time. And it like divided this in half, and so you were able to sort by which kind of coffee story you wanted. But unfortunately, I think they were just maybe demoing it and decided that they didn't like it. Either that or they couldn't figure it out. I don't know. But this Patreon can do this, but it was way, way clunkier. And they're really nice big bubbles here. So if you just want to read the coffee stories, you can. If you just want to read the news, you can. I've been posting the links to my religious exemption podcasts in here. And one of my viewers kind of was asking me, and I had this idea of sorting out all the different coffee stories. So that way, if you just wanted to follow one, you could. So there's kind of this funny fake podcast I made called Dreams and Creams, which is like a dreams podcast that's presented in some of my stories. And then there's Purgecast, which is like another fake podcast. And then so if you just want to read about Ghost Company, or if you just want to read like the Templar side story or the Leon Dusk side stories, like you can do that. So I really like that about it. And that is Buy Me a Coffee. But I think you can just follow even if you, and see some of the posts even without paying anything. And then this is what the response looks like. But it has private messaging also, although nobody really uses the private messaging. They kind of just they kind of just post things under wherever they want to post, which is pretty cool. What else? This is my Give, Send, Go that I made to try to raise money for the house, to buy a new house. And unfortunately, between them getting hacked from the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and then them getting hacked again from the truck driver protests that they were trying to raise money for, and then now everyone's using it to raise money for Ukraine. I was never really able to raise very much money on here, but if you wanted to follow this anyway, this is where I put the updates to how the house search is going. If anyone wants to follow how the house search is going, you don't have to donate anything, but I try to keep like my house updates different from like my creative updates, because not a lot of people maybe have the capacity to handle hearing about other people's house problems again. But if you wanted to, you could follow it there. So anyway, some people have been asking me for updates, and I wanted to tell people like why I wasn't sharing my game on the screen, because a lot of it's just kind of me sitting there clicking around like this, trying not to let my blood pressure go up about figuring the lighting out. But once I figure the lighting out, I can figure out the code of turning the lights on and off as he walks. So then, the game will basically be done by then. The rest of it will just be adding fun little context menus and having the cat play with the bag and putting the bag in his menu and stuff, and just adding fun little things, and the game will be free. Or maybe I'll make it like 99 cents or something. I don't know if I can do that, but I'll make the game like 99 cents or something. And it'll be a demo. At the end of the game, it'll be like, hey, could you buy my books? The point is, of course, trying to raise awareness for the books. It's really hard. Nobody's reading books right now. Ran into the same problems that I did trying to do my webcomic. Nobody wanted to read webcomics when, the world's coming down around them, and nobody wants to read books when the world's coming down around them because they don't have the capacity to do it. But I find making games, writing books, making webcomics, making art, like, very, very therapeutic. Even though it still takes an emotional toll on me, I have enough capacity to be able to do it. So I do. Until I can't. And I think that kind of like leads to the last thing. Is I took the plunge and bought another video card. So, it's not the latest and greatest, top of the line, but it's good enough to kind of future-proof me for a couple years. So, I did take the plunge with that. So I still have high hopes that I'm going to get a house, with my wife and the cats, and I still have hopes, I'm going to finish this game, and I'm going to keep writing, and then as soon as we move is when I'll start the second part of the series. I have some really cool big stories planned. Well, medium large size stories planned. They're going to be self-contained, like short stories, like you've come to expect. I don't see myself doing any more big novels until I wrap up a series, because the novels are completely exhausting. But I still want to show people that the game was a real thing that I've really been doing. And I really have been trying to raise money, raise funds, raise awareness. I believe in the project. PNWA Affliction's not going anywhere. They're just, my stories are just teeny tiny coffee stories right now, because that's all I have the emotional capacity to deal with everything going on, and the vax mandates and the massive civil unrest and food prices. And I know everybody's really struggling right now, but I'm not giving up. In fact, I'm putting money into getting a new video card so I don't have to go without as the chip shortage stretches out another year, as the vehicle shortages stretch out at least another year. I wanted to make sure that I'd be able to keep doing this, and that means staying up to speed relatively on video cards. So I should be getting it in the mail tomorrow, and I'll be updating my page with that. I paid way too much on tax for it, unfortunately, but the amount of time I saved, and the fact that I don't have to worry about it getting stolen, and I don't have to argue with people and drive around and try to get prices to match and stuff, it would have been worth it to save like over $50 on tax that I had to pay for it. I would have loved to put that $50 towards something else. And I was listening to this podcast, and they were talking about how it was Linus's WAN show yesterday, and they were talking about how theft of money equates to like the time of somebody's life you're taking away, and paying $50 in taxes is stealing a lot of somebody's life away, unless they're like, Elon Musk levels of rich or something. But having to pay $50 over 50 in taxes, like stealing a huge chunk of my life and a huge chunk of my work for absolutely nothing, because we get nothing from those taxes. Obviously, the cops aren't coming, the roads aren't getting fixed, you name it. So they're just sitting on the money in our, I don't know what they're doing with it, and they're trying to tax us even more. So that was a huge blow. I would have liked to spend that money on something else, or held on to it, but it was either that or spend the gas and the time trying to save that $50, and at the end, or the scalpers getting the cards and jacking the price up $400 or $500. The slight downgrade of the same version of my card that I picked out, the scalpers already bought it all and jacked the price up almost $200 in one day. And so I was like, do I pay the $50 in tax, or do I risk the guaranteed possibility of the card shooting up like another $300-$400 again, the scalpers getting it? The problem with the scalpers getting it is there's no guarantee that you'll be able to warranty it if you need to, or that they're not selling you something that's damaged or altered. So that's how I hate to use the word like justified, because I feel like that's overused, but I try to talk about like logic and critical thinking a lot, and that's how I rationalized it, I guess. It wasn't justified, it was rationalized. Anyway, so if you want to toss me a few bucks, you've got Give, Send, Go and Coffee. They both process through Stripe. I really like Stripe. Stripe's they take the lowest amount that I've been able to find. I still don't have a way of selling the books on crypto, but if you do want to buy the books on crypto, hit me up. Or if you know of a good service where people have been selling books with crypto, let me know. And I do have music for this game, by the way. I haven't put it in yet, though, but this game's going to have a little soundtrack to it. And, yeah, I've been having fun walking around with my little guy. I might animate him a little bit more. I don't know. I might just keep it really simple. I think it's more about the story than trying to make this look like a AAA title when it's really not. But huge shout out to Adventure Creator, the folks at Adventure Creator, for coming up with this. I got it on sale, so I didn't spend the full price if you go look it up. It goes on sale like a couple times a year, and I lucked out. I watched it for a long time, and it is worth every penny. Shoot. I think that's about it. I hope you're excited about the game. I hope you're excited about the books. I haven't sold a book again in like 2 months, but I have a feeling I'm going to be selling some books again soon. So, book 22's out, the Fanny compilation's out, and I'm going to be making some updates to Ghost Company, and those will be out soon. Although I don't know how much inventory is currently in circulation. And then I'm going to be making some updates to Volume 2. And they have assured me that Volume 2 is out of circulation, so the updates will go through, but who knows? I don't trust them anymore. Anyway, so if you hung around and listened this long, thanks very much. And if you feel like supporting, I really appreciate it. If not, just give it a like and a thumbs up, and share the books with somebody, and tell me what you're excited about in the game, or if there's like another part of the books that you'd like me to gamify. So, anyway, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.